What's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to my Rescue Ace combo video. So this deck is probably going to be the next best mid-range deck in the TCG because it already is in the OCG depending on your definition of mid-range. But this deck is the kind of deck that doesn't really lose to Nibiru because you only really have to special summon like 2 or 3 times in one turn if you want to be able to do like anything that, actually scares people, like setting 4 cards from your deck with one single card. It looks like the kind of card that you will find on a custom card that is designed by someone who doesn't really take the game seriously, but believe it or not, an actual Konami employee was paid to design Rescue Ace Turbulence. And now because of that freaking guy, we have to worry about the actual deck running around in the TCG now, and trust me when I tell you that the deck is way scarier than you think now, because one card might be enough to get you to victory, and that's what I will be showing you guys today, as well as some 2-card combinations and some combos when you have multiple cards, and some interesting things that you can do in Rescue Ace that a lot of people don't necessarily know. Anyways, before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe. It really motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these, and as always, the deck profile is coming up tomorrow, and now let's get right into it. Alright, so combo number 1 is the bread and butter combo, assuming that you only have Rescue Ace Airlifter. That is the true 1-card combo of the deck, so you're going to be going normal summon. This one searches a Rescue Ace spell card from the deck to the hand when it is normal or special, and you're going to be getting Emergency. This card is exactly like the name suggests, pretty much like an emergency teleport, so we're going to be special summoning a Rescue Ace monster from their deck in defense. Doesn't negate the effect, which is ridiculous, and then also you have to tribute a Rescue Ace monster from your hand or field upon resolution. So usually people would see that as a drawback, but it's really not, because it allows you to dodge cards like Veiler and Infinite Impermanence. So in this video, I'm not going to be covering too much how to play around hand traps because I think it's really obvious. All you have to do is hold your Emergency, so when your opponent chains Veiler or Imperm to your card, your Turbulence, you're going to be chaining Emergency and then summon something else, and then destroy your own, well, tribute your own Turbulence so that it still resolves to set 4 cards. But yeah, I mean, it's just literally that simple. And just like that, your 1-card combo allows you to get a Turbulence with 4 back rows, and also an extender because you're going to be getting back a Monster Reborn so that you can revive back the Airlifter, which searches you a spell card, and then the Emergency is going to be potentially summoning a Book of Moon, so that is 3 interruptions with 1 single card. The Book of Moon, as well as this one is a Veiler, and this one is a pop, so you can destroy an effect monster upon controls. By the way, all the Rescue Ace trap cards, you can only trigger them if you control a Rescue Ace monster. The spell cards, on the other hand, you can always activate them, no problem. And another thing that I have to mention is the fact that Emergency has a graveyard effect where you can banish it and reset back a Rescue Ace trap card from the graveyard to the field face down. So that's really, really cool, and something that you need to know how to abuse in Rescue Ace so that you never run out of gas. And the field spell is also going to be getting you back your resources, because some people are also not playing with the field spell, but if you are playing with the field spell, you don't really have to worry too much about that. But yeah, that's it for combo number 1. Very simple. It's a 1-card combo. Let's get right into slightly more complicated things now. Alright, so I think one concern that a lot of people might have is how do you kill in Rescue Ace, right? Because obviously I know that you might be able to put up a lot of damage, have a bunch of interruptions with the Turbulence, but how can you actually inflict more than 8,000 damage in one turn? And it's honestly really easy. So Hydrant is a 1-card access code talker. I can explain how, but at the same time I'm going to show something a little more complicated because I'm also going to have Emergency, and I'm going to be able to end on access code talker as well as Turbulence resolving and a Book of Moon, which is over 8,000 damage on top of having multiple interruptions on your board. So going first, second, it doesn't matter. You can actually do this combo. Anyways, normal summon Hydrant and then use the effect to search the Book of Moon, which is Preventer. Preventer can special summon itself by banishing a Rescue Ace monster from the grave, and when Preventer is sent from the grave to the graveyard, period, you can revive back a banished Rescue Ace monster. This card is insane, and again, quick effect, if you control another Rescue Ace monster on the field, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, change it to face down defense position. Anyways, the Emergency is going to be summoning the Turbulence from the deck, and then tribute the Preventer. Preventer is going to be, yet again, reviving back the Hydrant, and now the Turbulence is going to be setting 4 cards from the deck to the field. And now you might be thinking, okay, how can you still put up like a lot of damage just with this setup? It's not difficult because when you have a Hydrant, you can actually use one of your Rescue Ace spell or trap card during the turn it was set. So we can actually use this Rescue to revive back the Preventer. And now we're going to be doing something really spicy. and I think this is going to catch a lot of people off guard. If you're like one of the only ones to know that, and nobody else knows that you can do that, you're going to be winning a lot of games for free. So you can link off 2 monsters into Reprodocus. By the way, the Hydrant had to be in column 2 or 4. The Reprodocus has to be in front. And you're going to be culling what? Out of every type, you're going to be culling Cybers, because now you're going to be turning it into a Link Decoder. And you're going to be summoning any Link 3 Cybers monster with 2300 or more attack, just being as a Cybers monster that you're already playing in your extra deck anyways, so it's not like extra commitment. And for this combo, all you really need is just 2 somewhat awkward Link monsters in your extra deck. It's not the end of the world. And you're going to be reviving back the Link Decoder, and now go for an access code. That access code has 3 different flavors of monsters that you can use to destroy cards your opponent controls. And yet again, that Preventer could banish, Book of Moon, a monster opponent controls, so you can clear a lot of the cards going second. If your opponent doesn't have like straight up negates, but only has like beaters on the field and stuff like that, or cards that don't really interrupt you, 2 cards is all you need to kill your opponent going second, and in tandem with hand traps and stuff like that, this very much well could happen, because this deck, Rescue Ace, is known to be able to play a lot of hand traps, because 1 card is all you really need to play the game. Anyways, let's get right into combo number 3 now. Alrighty, so now I have Hydrant as well as Turbulence, but I'm going first, so I'm not trying to OTK my opponent. The Hydrant is going to be searching the Preventer, and then again, Preventer, banish the Hydrant, go into Proxy F Magician. This is extremely important. You need this card in your extra deck. And again, when the Preventer is banished, sent to the graveyard, you're reviving back the Hydrant from the banished, and with the effect of Proxy F Magician, you can fuse using the monsters from your hand or field, and you're going to be fusing for Muddragon of the Swamp, because you have 2 fire monsters with different types, and Muddragon of the Swamp is going to be calling fire, so now your opponent can no longer target monsters you control that are fire with card effects, and this Turbulence is free to resolve, even if your opponent has Valor or Infinite Impermanence, and just like that, you're again going to be getting a guaranteed set 4, which will lead to 3 interruptions, because yet again, you're going to have a Book of Moon, you're going to have a Trident pop, and you're going to have a Valor. And you can also summon the Hydrant from the deck, so that your cards do more than just the basic effect. But yeah, the Contain is the Valor that makes it so your opponent cannot use the monster as a material for something. Extinguish is the actual pop, and then your opponent will not be able to use the effects of the destroyed monster with the same original name for the rest of the turn. But that's only if you control Hydrant. Otherwise, all it really does is destroy an effect monster your opponent controls if you control a Rescue Ace monster. So yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Let's get right into the next one. Alright, so now I'm going second. I have Rescue Ace Impulse as well as Preventer, and this is somewhat similar to Tier Elements, where you can interrupt your opponent on turn 0. So my opponent is going like whatever, normal, and then use the effect of a monster on the field. I'm going to be chaining the effect of Impulse, because my opponent used a monster effect on the board, so I can tribute it from the hand, and then special summon a Rescue Ace Machine monster from the deck. So anything except the level 3 and 4 monsters. I'm going to be summoning the Fire Engine, and since a monster was special summoned to my opponent's field, I can summon a level 4 or lower Rescue Ace monster from the hand, deck, or graveyard, and that's going to be the Airlifter. Upon summon, I can search a Rescue Ace spell card, and when my opponent uses a monster effect, I can tribute the Airlifter, I guess, in order to summon a Rescue Ace monster from my hand very specifically. So it's not like Impulse, where it's straight up summoned from the deck, but this one, it doesn't have to be like well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's definitely worse, but at least we're going to be getting a second monster on the board, which is going to be Preventer. And now, since we control another Rescue Ace monster on the board, we can use the effect of Preventer to Book of Moon an opponent's monster. So with 2 cards, we're able to get a Book of Moon on turn 0, as well as our 1-card starter, which is Emergency. That's a lot of pressure, honestly, with only 2 cards. By the way, one thing that I really do have to say is that the first card that I showed, the Rescue Ace Impulse, the level 3 monster, is also an auto Expurli Noir, because you can normal summon it and then target the Expurli Noir so that it cannot use, neither player can activate the effects of that monster on the field for the rest of the turn, and it affects the player, not the card. So even if it is unaffected by card effects, it will still not be able to trigger. Basically, the player will not be able to say, I am using the effect of Expurli Noir, and if your opponent is chaining the Noir so that he's gonna be Phoenix Wing Wind blasting your monster, you can chain the Impulse and then summon a monster from the deck and get a lot of advantage. So going second against Purely, Rescue Ace definitely has a lot of win conditions, and again, even if you lose the dice roll, you can still play on your opponent's turn. The likelihood of pulling this combo off is, I believe, 10%, because it's 2 3-ofs. I could be wrong, maybe maybe it's slightly less than 10%, so in the 9%, but combined with other hand traps, it's definitely going to be something that you can appreciate and you will be able to pull off every now and then. Alrighty, so the next combo, this time I'm going first. I have a very interesting hand. I have Extinguish, Book of Moon, Prosperity, Dimension Shifter, as well as Rescue Ace HQ, which is the field spell. My Prosperity will be banishing 6 cards. I'm going to be chaining Shifter, and I will be getting whatever 1-card starter I can get, the best one at least. The Hydrant is pretty good here because the field spell does give me an extra normal summon on top of being a Daigusto Emerald. That's the reason why I really like it. It's just a good one of. So the Hydrant is going to be searching the Rescue Ace Airlifter, and that's going to be getting me the Emergency summon the Turbulence, destroy the Airlifter. I really want to keep the Hydrant on the board because it makes my spells and traps better. The Turbulence is now going to be getting me 4 cards from the deck to the field. Such a stupid effect, and I can use Alert right away so I can search a card, and now I have only 3 cards face down, so I can set the 2 other cards of that without conflicting with Shifter whatsoever. And you don't really need cards to hit your graveyard because, again, the field spell can shuffle back 4 of your Rescue Ace cards that are in banished or in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, draw 1 card. So it really doesn't matter whether the cards are in the grave or in the banished. This is one of the best Shifter decks in the game right now. Anyways, let's get right into the next combo, but before we proceed, friendly reminder to smash the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much, I really appreciate you. And now let's get right into it. So my opponent has Ash and Imperm, which is supposed to be pretty much like an FTK against this deck, because if your opponent holds the Imperm for the Turbulence, as well as the Ash for the Emergency, there's pretty much no way you can really dodge. Well, I mean, there's no way you can really dodge that, because it's 2 hand traps at the end of the day. 1 hand trap, any hand can play through it, but 2 hand traps, maybe not. But if you have Book of Moon, then, you know, Imperm doesn't matter at all, because it's always going to be preventing Imperm from negating you, even if the Imperm was like a higher chain link. But yeah, anyways, the Hydrant is going to try to trigger. The Imperm is going to hit me. I'm going to chain Emergency. That's going to be met by an Ash, which is not the end of the world. I can still play. I'm going to go Alert so I can search the Turbulence and now banish 2 cards from the graveyard for the Turbulence effect and use the Turbulence effect to set 4. Should have chained Shifter here so that I can also play around Veiler, but it doesn't matter too much. And yeah, now I can use the Shifter, set the Imperm, and all of that, you know, through 2 hand traps if my opponent is using those hand traps incorrectly. So you really always have to hold your interruptions for the Turbulence, and if you have an Ash, you Ash the Emergency. Nothing else is really worth ashing, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.